stop pulling. Johnny, stop barking. Johnny, don't do that. Don't do this. Hey, guess what? We can't do this and we can't do that. Trying to stay upbeat, sometimes it's a little hard. How's everybody doing out there? Johnny Bandit says hey. All right. Johnny, stop pulling. I've either heard that or said that every day for about 7 weeks. What are some things that you've been hearing every day for the last 7 weeks? Whether you like it or not. Things that might be starting to bother you a little bit, or good things. Things that you've never heard before or said before because the situation is so different. Stop pulling, Johnny. I've heard that so many times. And I think about it, we could say that to ourselves. Stop pulling, stop pulling, stop pushing. Is something pulling you in a certain direction? Are you excited about it? Usually when my little white dog, Johnny Bandit, my Jack Russell, who is a total wild child, but also continues to get sweeter and sweeter, when we go out on our walks, we have struggled now for almost 4 years with him pulling terribly on the leash. I've researched it. I've gotten DVDs, seen videos about how to train him with certain collars. I'm on my 3rd type of collar now. I really do not want to do the shock collar because I can't stand the thought of anything actually hurting him, but he does indeed need to learn how to walk better with me on a leash because we walk every day. And he is doing better now, but I understand that his pulling is due to curiosity and excitement. He's glad to be out of the house. Many of us feel that way now. Ventured out over the weekend on a little trip out of the county to see some family. It was great. It was very uplifting. I also had a lot of anxiety about it, going into it, worrying if we were going to get exposed to something or if the people we were seeing were as careful as they should be. Of course, they are careful people, and we feel like we were safe. But the main thing we can do is just pray constantly for God's grace and protection. I remember being in church many times and praying for missionaries and people that were persecuted for their faith, and folks not even being able to go attend church. And some associates we had in Rwanda were talking about how people couldn't take anything more from them, that they met under a tree as it was. They'd just move their crowd to another tree. But I always thought, that will never be a problem here. We'll always have our freedom to worship and go to church. And indeed we do. But the last 2 months, we've been enjoying our church service from our living room couch on iPads and laptops via Zoom and Facebook. So very different. Still hearing our truths, communing a bit by being able to see some folks on Zoom. That just goes to show even things that I never thought I really took for granted. It was just sort of a given because we live in the land of the free. Things can happen quickly to change the dynamic of our lives. Again, have extremely acute situational awareness. I fortunately don't live in a large city and live where the air that blows around me generally is off the Gulf Stream, so it's pure air, and I don't have to take mass transportation anywhere, and I know a lot of people do, and it's scary to be getting back out, although we all want to be back out so bad, and businesses need to open. People need to be able to run their business, and we are social creatures. We need to be able to interact with our friends and our colleagues and feed off of each other professionally and socially, offset loneliness. I know we've been encouraged to, and I encourage everyone to call people every day, someone, whether it be a family member or someone that's alone, but stay in touch and even closer touch. And I hope that will continue. I've not done as well in that as I would like to say that I have, but I am doing it and being more aware of it. There's a couple of females that I know, older, that are alone, and I try to call them, but I was thinking today, I haven't spoken with them in a couple of weeks. I really need to call today, this week, to check in. Hand sanitizer and that type of thing, and of course there wasn't any to be found in the area. I finally did track down some at 2 different stores, and I've ordered some. I actually had to order paper towels online this week, which was interesting. So these things that we would never even think, hey, I'm not taking this for granted. But yeah, being able to go to the store and buy my favorite Bounty Select-A-Size paper towels has become a challenge. When I used to just pick up a bottle of hand sanitizer to make sure everybody in the family had it on them if we were out, no big deal, fully stocked. Now, got to track it down, got to buy some generic brand because Purell still is not on the shelves. But I know it's coming back. And I hope we all will continue to take notice of these minor things in our lives that seem so minor that really are quite major. I mean, being able to go out to dinner, to meet friends, to not be so weird when we're around other people. We don't even look at each other. Let's try to move through that. We have to continue to be safe. We have to continue to be very careful. If you have a mask, wear it. I'm hearing a lot of just defiance from people saying, you can't tell me to wear a mask. Well, that's true, but we can all ask everybody to wear a mask. If you're going into a crowded store or a crowded event or back to work where you're going to be working closely with people, yes, for now, we need to wear a mask to protect ourselves and to protect each other. Wash your hands. Of course, we hear that all the time, but when you think about it, how often did you used to wash your hands? Unless you got a little bit of OC going on, you probably didn't do it that often. Now we realize how important it is to wash our hands frequently throughout the day and pretty much if you touch anything. So now our hands all look like chicken claws, so lotion up as well. Usually when people want to get out of a relationship quickly or out of a situation or a job quickly, they are either running towards something or running away from something. Therefore, I am using that whole idea of stop pulling, Johnny, to speak about how we need to be gentle with ourselves and gentle with others. We don't need to be pulling. We need to be moving forward. Yes, progressing always. We want to always be progressive and positive and move forward, not regressive. Know too that if there's been a lack of movement physically, lack of exercise, not only will the pounds add up, which we don't want to carry that around, extra weight, literally, it makes you feel bad if you don't exercise. We were designed to move around. So do something. If you can't get out of your house, if you live in a small apartment or a big city and you can't really get out and about, try to get your body moving. Even if it's just laying on the floor, doing some stretches. Usually you can pull up a fitness program or a quick video, YouTube video of yoga or exercises that you can do at home. If you can get outside, even better. The vitamin D that we absorb from the sun, just 20 minutes is enough to fight off virus and disease and sickness. It bolsters the immune system. And the body is so divinely made that you can't absorb too much. When your body absorbs the amount of vitamin D that it needs and requires from sunshine, then it changes its path a little bit. So you can't overdo it with that as you can with supplements. You want to be very careful with that. If you're taking a multivitamin and it says 100%, that's really all you need. You don't need to take an extra vitamin D. Now, some people have vitamin D deficiencies, and they would know that from their doctor, and then they would be prescribed vitamin D, and that's a whole different thing. So try to get outside as much as you can. Even if you don't have a dog, go out and walk or stand around and kind of march in place or stretch and try to be out there for at least 30 minutes at a time. I'm now shooting for doing the 30 to 45 minute walk in the morning, outside, and also in the afternoon. And currently the weather is such that I can do that. Last week it rained a lot, so I couldn't do that. I was doing shorter walks outside and then trying to compensate for being less active outside by walking on my treadmill. But I have laid on the floor and stretched a few times, so join me in doing that. Being in close quarters with more people than you're used to, for more time than you're used to, can obviously get on your last nerve. It can fray some nerves. It can also, be a very good experience, a very rich experience, especially with children, because then you have such wonderful, valuable time together. They learn so much just from being around their parents and their caregivers. Be encouraged that our freedoms are still here and states are opening up, events are opening up. So the social aspects of our lives that we used to enjoy, the interactions, are coming back. They're coming back slowly, and some are very different. Like I know the health club I used to go to has some very new rules, if you will, and they're all there to protect us. So I think it's important to have a mindset that I'm not going to be defiant and not do this just because you're telling me to, but again, it's a protective measure. No one has anything to gain by telling you what to do, except that it will help keep you healthy. And that's what we want, because when we're healthy, then we thrive as contributing people in this world, not only contributing to relationships with other people and enhancing and edifying their lives, but contributing from a professional standpoint. We're able to do our jobs. We're able to contribute to society and keep our society going. Very easy when you've been cooped up to harbor negative feelings and hate. And if you're not getting any exercise and you're not praying and you don't have any type of outlet, that often comes out as violent behavior. Like when the temperature goes up in the summer and it's hot, violent crimes and murders and aggression increases dramatically. So we must be mindful of that as well. Spread that around. Even if you're in the heat of the moment, okay, let's find another outlet for this. Peacefully protest something we feel strongly about. Let's try to shed some love and kindness to somebody that we know is hurting, however that might be. It might mean baking them some muffins. It might mean inviting them to go for a walk with you.